bit more than ironic that you say that we need to police ourselves, because you said a number of things that irked me. You listen to two people of color talk about statistics that affect their daily lives. Statistics that affect my daily life. You know, I agree that race is a social construct, but it's not, that social construct will not disappear just by ignoring it. This is a white supremacist country, period. Ipso facto, the police are here to protect that the white supremacist project, period. All of these, like, the police can't fail me, just like the education cannot fail me. The medical system cannot fail me. The child abduction or the child welfare system cannot fail me. It cannot fail Indigenous people, period, because it was never built for us. By crushing us, by pumping us down onto the streets, where we're harassed by the boots of the state. You know, these institutions are doing their job. So I really don't appreciate it. I don't really appreciate you saying, "Oh, stop talking about Black rights, stop talking about Indigenous rights. We're all just human people." Yes, we are, but you know, we live in human-created constructions, human-created institutions, and we need to challenge some of these underlying facts, like the baseline of some of these institutions. I used to do construction, you know. Any contractor worth their salt will say, if the base of a building, or like if the foundation of a building is cracked, it doesn't matter how many superficial, repairs you do on the facade, the face of the building is gonna crack because the foundation is cracked. So this country is based on white supremacy. That's why the Northwest Mounted Police, who became the RCMP, who in turn inspired the modern police forces, they were literally created to stop the Riel Rebellion. They were literally created to stop an Indigenous uprising. And if you look at what happened in Stoughton a few months ago in December, yeah, they sent in militarized police to take out peaceful people staying on their land. And when I talk to certain settlers, they're like, well, if you really want to be, you know, you don't even look like a real Indian. You wear like Timberlands and Nikes and Captain America hats. Well, Captain Marvel today. You know, you don't seem like a real Indian. You should just go back on the land and live on the land, and no one will bother you. What happened in Stoughton this December proves that that is not true at all. You know. And if you look at how much money is spent on, you know, policing our bodies, you know, versus how much money is spent on investigating the murdered and missing women in the downtown east side. The downtown east side is characterized as like a violent and a lawless place that needs to be cleansed. You know, if you read colonial history, you know, that's how they talk about the frontier, i.e. Indian land, every single time. A place of laziness, a place of indolence, a place of dirtiness, a place of lawlessness. It's not a mistake that the downtown east side is being framed that way, because it is the frontier for gentrification. You know, we're over-policed. As an Indigenous man, I'm over-policed and I'm under-protected, period. So it's like, I didn't really prepare a speech today, but I usually don't. I usually don't, but you know, there are things, like, think of when the murdered missing Indigenous women's report came out. You know, how many politicians came out to police the language that their own investigators, their own commission came up with. You know, they said, "Oh, I wouldn't use the word of genocide. That's too tough. That's too, you know, it's not Canadian enough. You know, Canada's supposed to be nice. You know." But like I said, just look at Stoughton, Elsie Booktook, Oka. You know, I can't think of any more right now, but there's Williams Lake, no. Gustafson Lake, there we go, thank you. You know, if you look at that, you know, it's interesting. At the Gustafson Lake incident, Canada had just signed a UN declaration to ban landmine usage. That very same day, they sent the RCMP to use a landmine against an old pickup truck. You know, and it's a miracle no one got killed. I can't remember how many thousands of rounds were fired. You know, where's this firepower when our women are going missing at an astonishing rate? You know, nobody even cares. I mean, except for the families. You know, and there is a form of policing that goes on down here, like community policing. If you go to the block where people sing or where people sell smokes, you know, you're always going to hear kids on the block, kids on the block. So if anybody's selling any illicit material, you know, or you know, telling an intense story, you know, they mind their curse words and they mind their drug dealing in front of the people, or selling loose cigarettes in front of the people. One thing that I've taken a break from my over political work, and I'm working on my cultural self right now. One thing that me and some of my friends do, some of my friends from Kwakala, which I'm not from, they've just taken me into their dance group. We dance, or we sing with either a log drum or hand drums, either out on Main and Hastings or 1 West Hastings, especially Welfare Tuesday and Wednesday. And whenever we're not all busy with meetings, we'll go sing for an hour sometimes, we'll go sing for 4 hours sometimes. And we call it clearing the sharks. You know, because the rowdy cops, they're like, oh no, we can't touch those Indians, they're too traditional. You know, and the rowdy people, and then the rowdy people on the block, who might still be ashamed of their indigeneity, they're like, oh, they get freaked out by the drum too, so they're like, I guess I'll go somewhere else for the day. So we'll sing for a few hours, clear the block of all the rowdies, especially the cops. And then when we're tired, you know, we'll usually just go and eat. And everybody appreciates it, you know? It brings culture to people down here who don't necessarily have access to language classes, drum making classes. And also, the people who brought me into their group, you know, they came up in a harm reduction model of looking at addiction, not an AA model of addiction. Some of the older generation knowledge keepers went to AA to clean themselves up, which is fine. I totally respect that, you know, just not when they're trying to jam it down my throat. You know. So sometimes, you know, sometimes our knowledge keepers will police us and be like, oh, you can't touch a drum if you drank in the past 7 days. You know, but the group I work with, they're like, as long as you're not like falling down drunk and you know, you're not like, you know, on a crazy psychotic episode. Well, we'd probably stop singing and actually help the person if they were episode. Yeah, definitely not call the cops. You know, and I'm still trying to struggle to find that balance, but I know the more I pick my drum up, the less likely I am to get, I mean, I still drink, but I'm less likely to just go hang with people who are just ready to be rowdy. So I thank Culture Saves Lives for that. I had another point, but I can't remember it because I'm just trying to go back.
Close to 1 minute soon.
Okay. Yeah. But we just need to, you know, just last thing I want to leave you guys with is, you know, it's impossible to have a justice system on stolen land. We don't have a justice system here in what we now call Canada. We have a legal system. And, you know, steal 50 bucks, you know, you're a hardened criminal. You steal an entire country, you know, you steal an entire province, or displace an entire people from their homeland, you know, you're a super giant corporation that can pay for these fancy dinners at politicians' conferences They can pay to help get advertising. They can pay for all of this. And you know, I can guarantee it's never ever been for my benefit, even when it is. I don't care how many cops, how many Indigenous inspired stickers you put on cop cars. I'm not gonna like cops. I don't care how many libraries you name in a Hokkien language. I'm sure it feels nice for the people to get recognized, but you know, it's still not giving the land back, and it's still the precondition to reconciliation as it stands right now is to fully join the capitalist system, the resource exploitation system, or face the consequences, which is go murdered and missing, or go to jail, you know, or you know, be forced to live in the downtown east side, which is kind of open air war zone. It's a war zone, you know, and the cops out there are cowards. It takes them six people to arrest like a small woman, you know, at the end of a, you know, they're cowards. Just take a day off, and you'll see how hard these cops work down here. 6 of them standing around doing nothing. 6 of them standing around watching a city worker do road work, you know. 6 of them to go, and then five men with pitchforks to go clear people's trash off the streets, which ironically enough, that's trash coming from more affluent neighborhoods. People are just doing what they need to survive. I can feel myself getting on a roll here, so I'm just gonna hand it off.